And welcome back to another episode of The Dogs on the Couch, where everybody's allowed to have an opinion. It does not matter if you played the game you are watching. So you're allowed to have an opinion as well. There's been a lot of things going on here lately, some more notable than others. I believe what we'll start with is none other than Joe Flacco himself. Just recently had some career numbers. I believe it was 470 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Now the Bengals did end up losing that particular game. Might have been the Jets they were playing. It slips my mind. No, it was the Bears. That's what they was playing. They was playing Chicago Bears. I think they ended up losing that game ultimately, but 470 passing yards, 4 touchdowns by none other than, Joe Flacco. Good old Joe, who for some reason looked like he couldn't throw the ball past 10 yards when he was playing in a Cleveland Browns uniform and, more importantly, in the Stefanski offense. So, of course, there have been numerous takes going around about, Joe's resurgence and, who's to blame for letting him go. And again, majority of the talking points to absolve Kevin Stefanski from his obvious doing in this is, the bringing up the wide receivers. Well, they just have the wide receivers over there that we don't have here. We don't have any wide receivers. We have the worst wide receivers that ever played football. They shouldn't even be in the NFL. And over there, he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And then, again, I keep saying the problem with that is Jake Browning had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins too. So why he wasn't just dropping back and just throwing to DeMar Chase, and then next thing you know, you got 470 yards and 4 touchdowns from just throwing it to Jamar Chase. Well, that's because Joe Flacco isn't just throwing it to Jamar Chase. In fact, the leading receiver in receptions for the Bengals that game was the running back. It was not Jamar Chase. So they didn't just drop back and throw it to Jamar Chase the whole time, like people would love for you to believe that the only person he throwing it to is just Jamar Chase. And that's not what's happening at all. He's throwing the ball to everybody. Yoshi Vash, the third string wide receiver, the tight end, Noah Fant, he's throwing the ball to everybody. It's not just Jamar Chase. However, let's hear what the indictments are on Andrew Berry, because for some reason it's still just Andrew Berry's fault. By the account of all of the beat reporters and the beat writers and all that other garbage for Cleveland media. But there is a guy on 923 The Fan that try to start calling out Daryl Ryder and some of his garbage takes that he putting out there, and the reasons why Flacco is looking so successful over there in the Zach Taylor offense that people don't even really think is all that good. People don't even really like Zach Taylor all that like that. But somehow Flacco is able to just shine so greatly over there. Let's listen to Daryl Ryder. His stupid reasons as to why Joe Flacco's so good over there.
Because he's actually able to throw the ball down the field, Daryl. Like right. his average depth of target with the Browns was 5. That was the lowest in the entire NFL. Like I do think that part of the equation does fall on Stefanski.
Well, no, I think that part of the equation falls on Andrew Berry because there's no targets worthy of throwing to outside of Jerry Jeudy. Like, that's an Andrew Berry problem. This is the worst wide receiver room we've seen here in a very, very long time. It's almost expansion Browns bad of a wide receiver room, okay?
Oh, it's the wide receivers. It's the wide receivers. The wide receivers so terrible. You just can't do anything. It's expansion Browns bad. First of all, the expansion Browns, if you look at their wide receivers, nobody even remember who those wide receivers were. That's just for starters. You don't remember any of their names. That's how terrible they was. Okay, again, at one point we was doing the 0-16, we had Muhammad Massaquoi and Greg Little. You know what I'm saying? Even they worse than uh the 0-16. If you ask me, I mean they're absolutely terrible. So to think that Jerry Jeudy isn't better than Muhammad Massaquoi and Greg Little, you're outside their mind. And then the guy on 92.3 The Fan, he trying to like kind of call him out a little bit, like, okay, bro, I understand you saying they bad, but like, come on, man, like they did make it to the NFL. Like you can't just be this terrible player and be in the and make it to the NFL. Like, I mean, come on. Every now and again, you get somebody who kind of loses what they doing as they go along the way, or maybe they stop elevating. But when you done made it to the NFL and you've been a Pro Bowler and stuff like that, you don't just I forgot how to catch the ball. Like it don't work like that. So let's hear him call old boy out.
The game can at least they haven't tried to win a game just completing like one or two passes in a game. We haven't gotten that bad there, but no, make no mistake about it.
They're pro wide receivers though, Daryl. You're acting as if like they can't catch passes.
Just because they're pro wide receivers don't mean they're any good.
If they're open and they're 20 yards down the field, they can catch a Joe Flacco pass if you play in the NFL.
Well,
like the idea there is that Stefanski wasn't letting him throw the ball deep. That's where, and you listen. You were there in the preseason, and you were there at training camp. And what was your takeaway?
They were throwing it deep in training camp.
I know. That's what I'm getting at. Like they were throwing it deep, and you kept telling us they're throwing it deep. And anytime I went there, they were throwing the ball deep, Daryl. And it was like, so why then, when the games got actually going, they looked at the guy that still had every reporter that was there said, "Wow, he still has a cannon for an arm. Oh my goodness, Joe Flacco's arm still looks great. Still looks like he can do it. Still looks this, still looks that." And then you get in the games, Daryl, and he wasn't able to throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field.
Like I said, I think the GM and the coach share in the blame.
He was stuck for a second. He ain't really had nothing to say. But it would cook it so tough that he had to process what type of BS answer he was getting ready to come up with, because it really it doesn't make any sense. Because the same people who said, oh, yeah, well, in training camp and in practice and all this, he throwing the ball down the field. They throwing the ball down the field. It looked good. And if for some reason when the season start, well, you're not throwing the ball down the field no more. Explain that, because that's not Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry ain't the one who controls whether or not you throw the ball down the field. So how is it you was drawing the ball to these plays and throwing the ball down the field and practicing the training camp and all this other stuff, but then when you get into the game, you're not throwing the ball down the field the way that you was doing in practicing the training camp? Oh, and the reason for that is because, well, the wide receivers suck. Well, if the wide receivers suck, then why in practice is you practicing throwing the ball to them down the field if they suck? Why would you be practicing that? That don't make any sense. Why is you practicing throwing the ball down the field to somebody who suck and can't catch, knowing that you're not about to do that in the game? That don't make any sense. And Buddy got caught up and he couldn't really explain why, so he just resorted back to the narrative talking point, which is, well, I mean, but like I said, I think that's the GM and the coach sharing that. No, that ain't the GM. That's just the coach. He the one drawing up the plays, and he was the one calling the plays. GM don't do that. He just gets you the players, and then you call the plays and drop the plays and practice and all that old kind of old garbage. That's your job as the coach and the play caller. That's not the job of the GM. His job just to get you the players, bruh. And he consults you, because y'all have told us the entire time you've been in lockstep. Y'all pick the players together. You've said that before, Kevin. And we can't just be like, oh, well, you was lying because, when you say that, well, your door's not ready, we supposed to believe you when you say that, but you lying when you say that you and Andrew Berry picked the players together. Like, I mean, we can't do that. Like, if you either we gonna believe what you're saying or we just gonna call you a lie. I mean, we can't pick and choose what stuff you said that we want to believe. Like, we can't really, I don't understand. We can't do that. At the end of the day, I believe the problem has been pretty much the same the entire time. I've said it numerous different occasions. on the channel and throughout these episodes. The guy can't coach the talent. And so here you talk about, oh, we want the talent. We don't have any talent. We don't have any talent. We don't have any talent. Well, yeah, because when you had the talent here, he couldn't coach it. And not only that, he used to tick them off because the star talented players wouldn't be getting the ball. They'd be like, all right, so wait a minute, I'm the star, I'm the talented player, and I'm not getting the ball. And then we lose, and now I'm mad that we lost because I feel like if you had gave me the ball a little bit more, maybe we wouldn't have lost. I mean, I am one of the talented players on the team, one of the star players on the team. It's like having LeBron James on your team, but he can't get the ball. He don't get the ball. That's stupid. Why would you have a team with LeBron James on it and not let LeBron get the ball? Or you got a team with Luka Doncic on it and Luka just don't get the ball. He can't never get we don't never pass Luka the ball. Why? That don't make no sense. That's stupid. That defeat the purpose for you even having Luka on your team. You might as well not have him on the team. Just get somebody else. Get Norman Powell. Have him on the team and run around and not get the ball. That's better for him than it is for Luka Doncic. Luka's supposed to have the ball, bro. So here go actually somebody else pointing out similar things, and then again the guys on 923 kind of like agreeing with it and giving some examples of kind of how guys aren't really necessarily getting the ball. These same people that you saying that they not good, it's like, well, it's hard to say if they good or if they not good if you only throw the ball to them twice for the whole game. This is supposed to be your number one wide receiver. You threw the ball to him twice in a whole game. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase threw the ball to 22 times in one game. I don't get it. Even the backup wide receiver get more targets than Jerry Jeudy do. So let's listen to one of the callers point out the fact that, again, maybe Stefanski just not good with talent. Maybe that or personalities. Because more often than not, if you're a talented player, they have a personality. It's very few Nick Chubbs in the world. Nick Chubb is a dime a dozen. Everybody not gonna be like him. Just be sweet. You just as good as ever, possibly the best ever, and you just mild and meek and humble and don't say nothing. Most times, it's not like that.
It's gonna make the other team play better. Yeah. So that's what I'm worried about with Stefanski. Is he that guy to push it? If you don't have the quarterback, do you have the coach to do it? If you don't have the coach, then the quarterback has to do it on the offense. But every guy we've had with a personality has struggled in his offense. No complaints there. Coach D, I appreciate you. There's always another coach, but thank you guys. Have a good
one. And that's absolute fact. Pretty much everybody. The only person that didn't struggle, quote unquote, or whatever in the Stefanski offense, is Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb. Them about the only players that never really saw too much of a quote unquote struggle. I mean, Amari Cooper did, but his struggles didn't necessarily occur until the contract negotiations had happened and Buddy wasn't getting the numbers that he felt like he should have been getting, considering his production level for the 2 years that he had been here. He felt like, hey, it's time for me to get the bag. You know what I'm saying? I've been putting up these numbers for y'all. Let me get the bag. And the numbers, I guess, wasn't sounding good enough to him. And so, when you got somebody that's disgruntled, a lot of missteps can happen. Maybe he's not as motivated when he's going out there, for whatever reason, well, the obvious reason, he ain't getting his money. But that could have led to a big part of the reason why to start out that, I believe it was the 2024 season, to start out that season, while he was here, he was leading the league in drops. So him not getting his money, like that could possibly have something to do with that. Cause I'd be out there too, like, well, what is I'm catching the ball? I've been catching the ball for y'all all this time, and you said I ain't worth the money, so what good is it doing that I'm catching the ball? Like, it ain't gonna be that it make you want to pay me. So I care less if I catch the ball or not. It don't really matter to me because you're not gonna pay me for doing it. So what do it really matter? And then here they're gonna break down just a little bit more about that dynamic of getting the ball into the hands of your quote unquote playmakers, or just the attitude of your playmakers and them wanting to get the ball, wanting to make plays. I mean, that's natural, you would think, but let's take a listen.
But they don't have the big personalities right now like they used to.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, and I'll draw back on like the fact that it's the scheme, and a lot of guys want touches. A lot of guys just want to be able to get the ball into their hands because your best players want to be playmakers, and that's not what Stefanski does. Like, I think that's part of the problem, and it constantly stems back to that. It's like, there's times where that works, but you even look at like a Shanahan where the scheme is just great. It works because it's great because Shanahan consistently gets the ball to his best players, and he gets a quarterback that doesn't have to be that guy, but just has to distribute to those best players. That's why the scheme, he was getting in a...
That's why the scheme worked, is what he's saying. And here the problem is, you know, you want to be like a Shanahan where you take one of these whoever quarterbacks and just have play like the point guard role and just distribute to the playmakers. Like Mac Jones, just distribute the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and then I think it was Kendrick Bourne. If you got George Kittle in and out of the mix, you use him, you know, or you just find some other guy that's good at something, and then you just spam that pretty much. That's what he would do. But what Stefanski like to do is he want to distribute the ball to third string tight ends, the third string wide receiver, third string running back. Like he draw up plays for them. Flea flickers to the tight end, a third string tight end screen. Why are we drawing up? Why are we bypassing your top players, your top playmakers, to throw the ball to somebody that's the third string guy? Like make that make sense. But yet when it come to quarterback, if it's a third string guy, oh, well, he's not ready. We're not gonna put him out there because he's not ready. But your third string tight end is ready. If he ready, why he ain't the first string tight end then? Why are we drawing up plays for the third string tight end that we don't even know his name? We don't even know who he is. Why are we drawing up plays for him? Why is we throwing the ball to him when you got a Pro Bowler that you could be throwing the ball to? Like, make that make sense. Here they break it down a little bit more.
But also keep those guys happy and invested in the game because you can say, I don't know about Isaiah Bond's personality, doesn't talk very much, but like, I'm sure he wants the ball and we see him giving up on some routes and we see him constantly in the wrong place. It's like he feels less invested, probably because he's not touching the football.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the superstar that came here and then was a million times better than what we've seen before. Like Jarvis Landry was a million-time Pro Bowler in Miami before he came here. Right. It's not as if he got that much better. Odell, you can argue, got much worse being here. Kareem Hunt was better in Kansas City the first go-round than what he was here, and you can argue might even be better in the second go-round in Kansas City than what he is here now. Amari Cooper was a million-time Pro Bowler in Dallas, and it's not like he elevated his game to a higher level while here. It was still very productive. Yeah. But like the point remains is that I don't know that people that obviously there's people that were drafted here, and that's a different story. But the people that were
basically, you know, your system doesn't make anybody get any better. Stefanski, your system is no notable player that has come here and flourished in that system where you come here and all of a sudden you get these great numbers. In fact, there's a trend that you have where there are quite a few notable players whose numbers dropped while they were under your watch. Like they didn't, not only did they not get better, it's either they remain the same for a year or the numbers just drop. And then sometimes the numbers drop so bad, they just, they just fall completely off of a cliff. Like it's extremely bad. It's a few notable examples of it. Dating back to when he was with the Minnesota Vikings, a couple of the receivers that he had over there, Stephon Diggs. In 2019, under Kevin Stefanski's watch, he had 63 receptions, 1,130, and 6 touchdowns. Sounds good. 63 receptions, over 1,000 yards, basically 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Sounds good. Sounds great. Okay, the following year, 2020, after Kevin has left and Stephon Diggs is in somebody else's offense, he has 127 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So, whereas the year prior with Kevin would seem like, it's like, oh, that's a great year. You got 63 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Great year. But the very first year that Stephon Diggs is away from Stefanski, he got 127 receptions instead of just 63. He got 1,500 receiving yards instead of 1,100, and 8 touchdowns instead of 6. Adam Thielen, 2019 under Kevin Stefanski, even though it was only 10 games. I got to add that asterisk. It was only 10 games. But he had 30 receptions, 418 yards, 6 touchdowns. The following year, 2020, without Stefanski, 74 receptions, 925 receiving yards, and 14 touchdowns. So again, the year he gets up from up under Stefanski, he go from 30 receptions to 74. He go from 418 yards to 925. He go from 6 touchdowns to 14. That's wild. Odell Beckham. Let's go to him. 2019, 16 games. This is without Kevin Stefanski. This is with Freddie Kitchens. This is with Freddie Kitchens of all people. This is with Freddie Kitchens. Odell Beckham had 74 receptions, 1,035 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Next 2 seasons, battling injuries and stuff like that, I actually just combined them because I think he had 6 games one year and I think it was 7 games the next year. So I just combined them to give, 13 total games. So in them 13 total games under Stefanski's watch, he had 40 receptions, 541 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So again, he went from 74 receptions, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, to when he get with Stefanski, it's only 40 receptions, 541 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then once he leaves, 8 games in LA, he had 27 receptions, 305 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he got more touchdowns in them 8 games that he played at the end of the 2021 season with the Rams. He had more touchdowns in those games than he had the entire 13 games that he was under Stefanski's watch. Absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention his target level. So his targets in the league every year before getting with Stefanski, OBJ had 132 targets, 159 targets, 169 targets. Then he had a hurt year in New York where he only had 41 targets. But then the following year with New York, 124 targets. Then up under Freddie Kitchens, he got 133 targets. And then with Stefanski, 77. So how is it all these other offenses he getting 130 targets, 159, 169, 124, 133, and then he get with you and it's 77. Make that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Jerry Jeudy. I mean, the list goes on because these are pretty much all the wide receivers that's been up under his watch. That's notable. All the other wide receivers that's been up under his watch, they trash. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Hollywood Higgins, all the the practice squad players that he loves so much because they don't ask for the ball, they just run the route, and if they don't get the ball, it don't matter. Okay, so Jerry Jeudy, 2024, not up under Stefanski's watch because Stefanski had gave the play calling to Ken Dorsey. So Stefanski don't get credit for this. This was Ken Dorsey calling these plays. 2024, Jerry Jeudy had 90 receptions, 1,229 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Through the first, I think, 8 games this year? You got 22 receptions for 257 yards, no touchdowns. And in the most recent game, he had 2 targets for the entire game. 2. So what the shameful part is, it's a trend. If it happened once or twice, you can say that's an anomaly. It's not really that big of a deal or whatever, what have you. But when this has pretty much happened with every wide receiver that you've come across, well, now I got to add merit to it because clearly something's here. If no matter how good a wide receiver do with you, they always seem to do better with someone else. I mean, eventually, I don't understand how we keep overlooking the common denominator. How is it that all these wide receivers is getting these better numbers when they get away from Stefanski as opposed to when they with him in that, in that whatever he calls that offensive playbook of his, whatever he calls that. And ironically, as we kind of get to this, I'm gonna get back to that, but we got to shift gears just a little bit, just a tad, because one of the new updates recently, well, it's hard to even call it new because he did the same thing last year. For some odd reason, yet again, the second consecutive year in the middle of the season, after starting horribly on offense with him calling the plays, now all of a sudden Kevin Stefanski has decided to give up the play calling again. Now, first of all, that's just wild. That's absolutely wild. For all the people who defend him and think he's a good coach, I've never known a good coach, because he's so good at his job, that in back-to-back seasons, he got to give up the play calling. And then people say stuff like, well, I mean, that is good. He's giving up the play calling because, initially his job is the head coach. I mean, so, he's just giving it up to do his job. It's like, okay, but a major part, not just a part, a major part of the reason you got the job at the head coach was because you were supposed to be this great offensive mind and this fantastic play caller, like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, all them type of people. Andy Reid, you were supposed to be one of them type. You're supposed to be one of them, the young, hot offensive guru, quarterback whisperer. That's what you were supposed to be. That was the main reason that you got the head coaching job. So for you in back-to-back seasons, in the middle of the season, after the first 8 weeks of your offense looks absolutely terrible, well, you know what, let me give up the play calling to somebody else. Well, that's an indictment if you ask me. That means you don't know how to do your job, because we brought you here to be the offensive mind and to call the play, be this masterful play caller. If you're not doing what we brought you here to do, well, then what's the point of you being? Why is you here? What you here for? And then the way people spin the narrative, they'll be like, oh, well, because, again, if now this new play caller, because last year when you switched to Ken Dorsey, yeah, we ultimately were still losing games. But you would hear everybody talk about how the offense looked better. At least the ball was moving. Jameis Winston was throwing 500 yards. So we was losing, but it was entertaining. Mind you, I'm never entertained by losing. I don't like being I don't have a loser's mentality. I'm not entertained by losing. I'm mad because I lost. And I want to try to do everything I can so that I don't lose the next time. Like that, I'm not entertained by losing. But a lot of Browns fans was, oh, we entertained. I'm not, but okay, whatever. That's what happened when you're a Browns fan. I don't get it. I don't get their mindset. But okay, at least you was entertained. Okay, well this time, and they said it that they kind of said it then too. They was like, well, we have to give Kevin credit here, for stepping up and handing over the playbook, handing over the play calling. We have to give him credit for that. Why? What is we giving him credit for that for? For handing over something that this was the reason that we got you here, was because you were supposed to be good at this. And then now when you're not good at it and you give it to somebody else admitting that you're not good at it, why am I patting you on the back? Why is I patting you on the back for that? You told me that you was good at this and then come to find out you're not good at it? Well, that don't make no sense. And this is a results-based league. Like, that's how it goes. Now, don't get me wrong. When we're talking morally and as a person, yeah, that's a great thing. You turn over the play calling because you basically admitting that you trash at your job. So morally, hell yeah, that's a great thing to do. You admitting. The first step is admitting. I'm trash at calling plays. I'm not good at this. So that's great. The problem is, we in the business of winning football games, not morality. Like that's the only problem. I'm not judging you by your morals. I'm judging you by, are you winning football games or are you losing them? Don't nobody care about morals when you win in football. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. You win in football games, you could be the most trash person that ever lived. People finna make excuses for you because you win football games. So they're gonna come up with whatever excuse they can to make it seem like whatever you doing wrong is right. Because you just win in football games. That's the way the world. That's the way the world works. Unfortunately, your job is to win football games, not to be the most morally correct person. That's not what you get paid to do. You get paid to coach and win football games. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So I want to play in live time one of these, beat writer reporters, the same Daryl Writer, and Buddy kind of at Buddy on 92.3, and I wish he had a game more pushback, but he didn't. He kind of asked somebody like, okay, so if Kevin, he done gave up this play calling again, if this new offensive coordinator go out there with the same offense that y'all said was terrible, the same wide receivers that you said can't catch, they terrible and they should be in the NFL, if he go out there with them same players and the team look better, well, then what does that say about Kevin Stefanski? You gonna hear the dummy say, he gonna say, well, that just means that Kevin did the right thing by giving up the play. He did a great job in giving up the play. I mean, you sound stupid. Let me just play it because it sounds retarded. It don't make no sense.
But we really probably won't know much about that until obviously Sunday in New York. We'll tell you if, in fact, on Sunday it does look drastically different, but it looks drastically better as well. But then it was a good decision by Kevin Stefanski to turn over the play calling to Tommy Reese. I mean, right? That's like, at the end of the day, he made the decision to do this, and he's looking for something, and if it works out, then obviously it was a pretty darn good decision. So I think we can all hope that it...
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that morally. You're correct. If you turns it over and it works out, then it was a pretty darn good decision. You're absolutely correct. In fact, it is such a good decision that I need to fire you. That's how good of a decision that was, because this decision that you made, it showed me, well, I don't even need you around. I don't need you. What do I need you here for? Yeah, because see, when you was here and you called the play, doing all this other stuff, you meddling and doing all this other stuff, we look terrible. The instant that you move out the way for the second straight year, the instant that you move out the way, well, the offense all of a sudden starts to look better. Well, I don't need you here then, because we all know Kevin's not the rah-rah guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He not the speech giver, the come on, let's fight, let's kick him let's kick it. That ain't him. He's the sit behind the desk analytical genius. I won't say anything. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Keep stuff closed. I give answers, but I don't give answers. And then I'm the smartest guy in the room. That's what he is. So you can't go from being the 6 years everybody know you the pencil pusher, you the nerd pencil pusher, but then all of a sudden towards the end of year 6, would you finna walk in the room like you the Rock, like you in here to beat everybody up? Hey, get out of the way. It's like, bro, everybody gonna laugh at you if you do that. Everybody gonna be looking at you like, bro, that's not you. Players gonna be looking like, bro, who is you yelling at? That's not you. Hey, you better back up off me, Kevin. Kevin? Who you think you yelling at? Kevin? You ain't yelled at people the whole time you been here. Now all of a sudden you yelling at people? Kevin, you better get out my face, Kevin, before I go to the office and be the next person to demand the trade to get up out of here. Kevin, you better get up out my face, bruh. Talking about you all of a sudden you yelling at people. Man, if you better keep that to yourself, okay? Or it's going to be some other reports coming about this locker room other than just people being disgruntled. Okay? You seen what happened with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole when they got into it in their training facility. Okay? Don't be the next Jordan Poole, Kevin. You better watch your mouth when you talk to me. Let me do what I'm doing. You mind your business. You ain't coached us to wins in 6 years. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, bro. I'm cool. Especially in the players see that when this other person take over, everything look better now. Oh, I really done lost respect for you, bro. Because when you was doing this stupid stuff and it wasn't working, I was telling you, hey, man, this is stupid. It ain't working. Like, just get a ball to me. And then now, when this other person take over and he not doing the stupid stuff and he giving the ball to me and it's working and we look good, and don't let us start winning, too. What are you here for? I'm finna walk right up to the office. Hey, Jimmy, hey, Kevin got to go. I don't like Kevin. And he just tried to yell at me the other day. So if you don't want me to slap him, I suggest you go ahead and fire him. Otherwise, I'm going to slap him, or I need you trade me. Trade me the same way that all the other sweet players said to trade them, and then they get up out of here and they go be good other places. Let me do that. Because I'm not trying to be here with Kevin who want to start yelling at people all of a sudden. I don't have time. I don't got time for it. I can't do it, Jimmy. So hey, either get your mans, or let me go at the end of the day. Just let me get on about here. And to switch to kind of switch back and ending as far as with the talent, because that leads me back to the talent, because we love to talk about how bad the talent is, okay? But every time we get the talent, we run the talent out of town, and they all have the same reason, and this is especially on the offensive side of the ball. They all have the same reason of why they want to get out of town. They all be saying, they be complaining about the offense and the fact that they not getting the ball. And how quickly Cleveland Browns people and fans, how quickly they forget Kevin had brainwashed them into thinking that these talented players were no longer talented. And so they're like, oh, well, he's not good anymore. Get him out of town. Sort of like Joe Flacco. And then as soon as you get him out of town, he go over in Cincinnati, and all of a sudden he can throw the ball. He can throw the ball deep. Oh, what do you know? Oh, well, it's because he has wide receivers over there. Yeah, so did Jake Browning, and that didn't work for him. They all have the same gripes. They be like, the offense is trash. And a part of the reason that the offense is trash is because you won't get me the ball. And I'm one of the better players on your team. I'm one of the playmakers. Why I can't get the ball? Why am I just out here running around? Why? Why is I'm out here just running around and not getting the ball? So, again, dating back to Odell Beckham, you're going to hear one of the reporters here talk about how Kevin was even saying then, well, that's all on me. I got to find better ways, to get the guy the ball, et cetera, et cetera.
Stefanski said in a press conference not long ago, it's on me. I've got to get him more involved in the offense. I've got to scheme ways to get him more touches. And altogether, the Browns just didn't do that. And his last game with Cleveland, 1 reception for 6 yards. That's a pretty poetic ending, I think, that summarizes his tenure in Cleveland.
Yeah, sure did. Last game for Odell Beckham leave up out of here, but he had 1 catch for 6 yards. Your number 1 wide receiver, what was arguably one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL, I'm going to throw the ball to you once. Sound like what Jerry Jeudy going through right now. Out there running around and just can't get the ball. And then they well, he's not open. And then that's why back then, Odell Beckham, his daddy, reposted a video clip that somebody made. They like, oh, y'all saying that my son ain't open? Watch this. Look at this clip right here. 11 minutes of him running wide open and not getting the ball. But y'all saying that he not open. That's why he not getting the ball. Well, the videotape ain't lying to it. The video footage ain't lying to us. We watching the video footage, and on the videos, he running wide open and not getting the ball. So my thing is this. If random people on Twitter can look at the video footage and see that he running wide open, how come the head coach of the team can't look at the footage and be like, oh, wow, he is open. Maybe we should throw him the ball a little bit more because he is out here wide open. I don't know. Are you looking at the tape, Kevin? I mean, you the coach. I don't know. Are you watching the tape? Did you even see it? I'm pretty sure you saw the video that his daddy posted because you got upset about it, and then that's how we let him go. We didn't even trade him to get stuff. You were so mad, you just cut him from the team, which is another stupid thing for everybody who want to be like, oh, all the stupid stuff that everybody did, that was dumb. You just cut him from the team. You ain't even get nothing for it. But then later you want to complain about not having draft picks and all, not having talent and all this other stuff. But you ain't even try to get nothing for Buddy. You just cut him because his dad reposted a video of him being open. If he was a smart head coach, you would have been like, you know what? Yeah, that's bad. I'm gonna call his dad. I'm gonna talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to smooth things over, and I'm gonna look at that film and see how I can get this young man to football because he's dynamic, and I don't want to lose him off the team because he's talented. And when I lose one of these talented people, and then now we ain't got nobody to throw the ball to, y'all gonna be mad because we ain't got no talent on the team and we ain't got nobody to throw the ball to. But instead, he let his ego get in the way. He let his pride get in the way. Oh, you mad because I ain't throwing you the ball? Well, I don't have to throw you the ball. You better just run my offense. And my offense say you don't need the ball right now. So just don't you don't say nothing else to me. And then next thing you know, all right, well, you want to get up out of here. Cool, no problem. And then this is, Myles Garrett talking about it. And what's so crazy is back then he was kind of saying it without saying it. Now he just be coming out saying stuff. Now he just be coming out saying, yeah, hey, get Quinshon to Judkins the ball. Why we not getting him the ball? Why he ain't getting the ball? I thought he should be getting the ball. Now back then when I'm finna play, you could kind of hear him hinting at that a little bit, but he was still kind of trying to be nice and quiet and not really say too much to ruffle feathers. Now he just be saying what he want to say. But this was Myles Garrett, and when they was asking him kind of about Odell and Odell's departure and how did he talk to him and how did he feel about it, all that kind of stuff.
Now, whether it's here or somewhere else, he's gonna give his best to that team, and just unfortunate. The man had one touch on last week, and he was just gone. And I can't say rightfully so, but he's the number one receiver, and number one receiver, you have to expect some things are going to come with that.
He had to try to word it correctly. Because you hear him getting at it. He buddy had one touch. Number one wide receiver, and you touched the ball one time. He ain't want to say, that's crazy. What are we doing? What is the offense doing? He your number one wide receiver. He only touched the ball once. What are we doing? He wanted to put that out, but he was he just did the politically correct answer of, and you just, if you're the number one wide receiver, you just would expect that there's certain things that will come with that. Like getting the ball. The number one wide receiver. What I'm expecting to come with that is you finna throw the ball to me. That's what happens when you the number one wide receiver. They throw the ball to you a lot. At least, functioning NFL offenses, people that know what they're doing. If you have a number one wide receiver, that's why he's the number one wide receiver. Meaning, that's the first person you want to throw the ball to when you drop back to throw it. That's the first person you're looking for more often than not. That's why he wide receiver number one. So what you would probably be expecting, what come with being wide receiver number, you would probably be expecting to get the football. Not just one time either. Here go. Let's listen to a little bit of Kareem Hunt. This was back when Kareem Hunt was expressing his frustrations, because we heard the guy on 923 The Fan talk a little bit about Kareem Hunt earlier, saying how Kareem Hunt was better probably when the first time he was in Kansas City, and he came through here. He was good when he was here, just being who he is. He was good when he was here, but how quickly again Browns people and Browns fans forget. When he was here in Stefanski's system, not getting the ball, we were saying that the reason that he wasn't getting the ball was because he wasn't that good no more. Well, that's why he's not getting the ball. He's not that good anymore. But he's left here, went back to Kansas City, and they give him the ball a lot over there. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's the starting running back because Pacheco been hurt. And ever since Pacheco been hurt in and out, ever since last year, because last year Kareem Hunt helped him get to the Super Bowl. Last year. Kareem Hunt helped him get to the Super Bowl. And when Pacheco was out and the other running back was out, he was a bell cow. He was getting the ball sometimes 27, 28 times a game, going over 100 yards, getting 2 touchdowns. He's going crazy. Doing stuff that if what we said, he's washed, he's not good, that's why he ain't getting the ball. That's what they told us to say. Oh, he washed, he's not getting the ball. But then how is it when he go back over there, he's running and scoring touchdowns again? It don't make no sense. And people, again, will try to lie and say that wasn't the case. So, the internet is a thing where it keep receipts. Some people, I guess, forget that there is a thing called the internet. And when you get on here and you saying stuff on it, it gets recorded. It's documented. So, you can lie and say that you didn't say that. But unfortunately, the internet is going to keep that receipt and it's going to show you saying exactly what you said that you didn't say. Now you got a whole nother bag that you got to try to climb out of. So, here's what people was talking about, saying about Kareem Hunt when he was expressing he wanted to get the ball a little bit more, especially in the later parts of the game. Because in this game that they lost against the Seattle Seahawks, and they should have won, his last touch came in the middle of the third quarter. He didn't get the ball no more the rest of the game. And this is your dynamic running back, because Nick Chubb was hurt at the time. So this was your number one running back, was Kareem Hunt. You had Kareem Hunt, Jerome Ford, and Pierre Strong. That's your running back room. And you chose, instead of giving the ball to Kareem Hunt, you chose to get the ball to Pierre Strong and Jerome Ford, and you end up losing the game. And so, of course, if I'm Kareem Hunt, I'll be upset about that, bro, because I want to get the ball. So then when he started talking about, getting the ball, like, well, I can't get the ball, I should be able to get the ball. Here's what Cleveland people had to say about it.
Not getting a chance to run the ball on the 3rd and 3 late. Quote, I didn't get a chance the whole fourth quarter, so it's cool. I don't know. I just go and play my role. I feel like I could have helped win.
His final touch came with 3 minutes and 36 seconds left in the third quarter.
I got a huge beef with this. Kareem Hunt, no offense, dude. You've been a nice NFL player. You're just a guy right now.
Yeah.
Who the hell is he at this point? He's just a guy.
I thought he was being transparent.
He's just a guy. Who are you? Who are you? You're just a guy. Well, that just a guy was the starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs last year going to the Super Bowl. That just a guy is still on the Kansas City Chiefs roster getting carries and winning football games. But he's just a guy, though. Meanwhile, the other two guys that you was giving the ball to instead of him, Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong, well, Pierre Strong, I don't think is on your roster anymore. He's gone. So he wasn't as good as you thought he was, I guess. And Jerome Ford ain't really getting the ball too much for us right now either, because a rookie replaced him. Quinshon Judkins, yeah, he replaced him. So again, if Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong was so good that Kareem Hunt needed to take a back seat to them, well, how was a rookie able to come in and immediately take over their job? Make that make sense. What happened to Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong? Because remember, Kareem Hunt, you're just a guy. You're just a guy. Who is he? He's just a guy. Yeah, that just a guy went to the Super Bowl last year when y'all only won 3 games. That just a guy. Another team took that just a guy and they was winning with him. Meanwhile, you took these other people that I guess you thought was better than them. Well, you only won 3 games with them. So if you ask me, Kareem Hunt was legit justified in saying, hey, why I can't get the ball a little bit more? Because over there in Kansas City, they give him the ball and it helps them win. So he doesn't have to complain about not getting the ball. And, they don't have to complain about having losing seasons, because they don't. They don't have losing seasons. And part of that reason is because they give the ball to their playmakers. They don't have Rashee Rice just out there running routes and not getting the ball. They don't have Kareem Hunt on the team and just won't give him the ball. Like, I don't understand. Like, that seems to be the common thing with just the Browns, and their playmakers. Odell Beckham, I can't get the ball. Kareem Hunt, I can't get the ball. We used to tell Stefanski all the time, get a ball to Nick Chubb. He don't want to get a ball to Nick Chubb for some reason. You like to have Nick Chubb sitting on the sideline for whatever reason. I don't understand why. And then last but not least, I'll close with this. Even when you do have the playmakers, like let's just say you get the playmakers that you're looking for. Let's just say that in theory, it's correct that all those other players were washed, even though we see that they not. Joe Flacco, Odell wasn't, because he went on to win the Super Bowl. Kareem Hunt wasn't. He's still playing after going to the Super Bowl last year. Jadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, a whole bunch of players that we said, oh, you're washed. And no, they wasn't washed. But let's just say that was true. And then somehow we're able to acquire, some new playmakers, some new talent. Here's proof in an all-22 breakdown and some of the play schemes that Stefanski was running and different things of that nature. Here's proof that even if you do get those playmakers, once you put them in the Stefanski system, it's almost like his goal is to not give them the ball. Because as bad as we talk about this pass catching room that we have between the receivers and tight ends, mainly the receivers, we do have two Pro Bowl players. That's Jerry Jeudy, who was a Pro Bowler last year, but mind you, Ken Dorsey was calling the plays. That's how he ended up being a Pro Bowler. And then you got David Njoku. So here on this specific play, it's a bunch of them, but I mean, we take forever breaking down all these plays because this video that he doing, we breaking down the plays, is probably like an hour long. So he going through an hour long of plays that are just like this. And it isn't necessarily the play design as it is who it's designed for and where the ball is designed to go on this play. Because you got two Pro Bowl players that's on this field right now. You got Jerry Jeudy and you got David Njoku. So a smart NFL offense, when I'm passing the ball, I'm looking for one of my two Pro Bowlers first. Like, that's usually who I'm going to be drawing up the plays for. That's what Shanahan and McVay and all them do. Shanahan throwing the ball to Christian McCaffrey. He throwing the ball to, when they had Debo Samuel, he throwing it to him or Brandon Ayuk if you got them. And then if they ain't there, well, then I'm throwing it to George Kittle. McVay, I'm throwing it to Puka Nacua. They got Devontae Adams. All right, I'm throwing it to him. They use their playmakers. Here in this play design, you're going to hear the guy breaking it down. And this guy was a Stefanski supporter, mind you. And this is part of the reason when he breaking his stuff down, part of the reason why he don't support him no more. And he had to get off of it. Because you skipping over your two Pro Bowl players to throw the ball to an undrafted rookie. What? That doesn't make any sense. Let's listen to him break the play down, though, a little bit and explain why it's retarded.
Your two Pro Bowl players on this play are running a 9 to clear and a drag, which is also to clear, right? Because you're just trying to clear the underneath here, right? That's what we're running here with our two Pro Bowl players in the passing game. We're instead running a motion quick slant for our undrafted free agent, which, look, this is a good...
Which is actually a decent, play design when you look at it. But you got the personnel all wrong. You got your best players running decoy routes. So the two best players that you got them running routes where they're not about to get the ball. Instead, you finna throw the ball to the third wide receiver on the depth chart. So let's skip over the two best players that you got. So, the talent, the playmakers that y'all want to be on the team that you say that's not on the team. Well, when you get them, if Kevin is calling the plays, that's what's finna happen. He finna draw up a play where your two playmakers, the best pass catchers that you got, where they finna run decoy routes. They not getting the ball. They running decoy routes, and then he gonna throw the ball to somebody who sucks. Basically, that's the play design. The two good people that you got, they finna run routes where they don't get the ball, so he could throw it to somebody that sucks. Make that make sense? It doesn't. We're gonna see how the play calling look up under Tommy Rees, and if it looks better than what it was looking like when Stefanski was calling him, I might be downtown with a big poster saying fire that man immediately. I might start a petition and just be down there taking signatures because I don't need him being on the team anymore for the remainder of the season. Please believe that. Dogs on the couch, man. Signing off.